Lure me in, ¿no?
¿Cómo se llama esto? ¿Qué es esto?
¿Qué?
¿Qué?
Es un lapicero.
¿Seguro que es un lapicero?
Para mí sí, o sea, nosotros, sí, es seguro.
No es un lápiz.
No, no es un lápiz, es la, dude, you're amazing. Boom, dude, you're amazing. You
That's
see what
it.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
This
And you
is
keep it
our
the
own
letter.
version of tell me this
Perfectly
again.
annoying. No, no, I'm joking. Like, seriously,
Virtually.
like, I like that. It's in, what's that word? In disposable. Like you got, like, it's the best. Anyway, Francisco, amazing. Honestly, did everyone see? I'm in.
Thank you.
I'm in. You're welcome. It's my dream, and hopefully a shared dream with you guys, that a person should come to you and say, "Hey, I need this language," and do you know? I don't even know their level. I have to assess their level, and I need to find out where they are in the pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
not just for the
Yes.
heck of it, because the pyramid just for this. No, the pyramid is it's supposed to be a tool that you go, okay,
Mhm.
I know this person. Fabio says to me sometimes, this person is blue belt, so we know what that means.
And then we know how to work with them.
And you know how to work with them. And so the goal is that any student comes along, Horacio, and says help me with my Spanish, brother, or he says help me with my English, or whatever it may be, my Egyptian student. And you know how to assess them, and you know the best way to work with them.
Mhm.
So the other day with Reem, that was pure baseline textbook, white belt, complete beginner, using a spreadsheet, using a matrix, using a 1, 2, 3 chart, whatever tools you want to, that it was. And my comment to you, Francisco, was, what'd you think? How did it go? What were your observations? And I can say what your answer was. Do you want to tell me you want to say what your observation? And this isn't supposed to be like, yeah, great job. I want to know. No, I was confused about this. Please go.
I said that I had trouble following your train of thought and your thought following the student's train of thought.
Yes.
Uh, and that I thought that that I needed to break down the pieces into their constituent parts in order to be able to
Yeah.
understand them.
Yeah.
And then you told me that don't worry, we're gonna show you this. So I didn't worry.
I'm glad. I'm glad. You haven't lost any sleep, I hope, because
No.
I got a comment recently on a YouTube video where the guy goes, I am now dumber after having watched this.
Oh,
And I said, well, I was like, try some other videos too, and hopefully you'll at least be able to recuperate what you lost and break even.
It's I find it interesting sometimes as well about the method. I think that if you don't like the method, for example, it's better to, do something than do nothing. If you go off and you learn a bunch of vocabulary and grammar that's not related to your method,
Yeah.
then because you see your method as a chore, I think that's one critique I would have. Is
Yeah. Look, if anything about this gets in anyone's way, hey, don't worry about it. Like let it go. But I do think that, Francisco, I can see you doing this. In fact, I've been thinking a lot about you specifically just because of your comment. And I want to talk about your comment about sequence, about breaking down. Well, what if we broke down the sequence? Before that, based on specifically on the experience with Reem, any other comments? Positive, negative, confused, happy, worried, sad, anything at all from Horacio or Susana or Hugh? I'm not sure if you saw it.
the Spanish one.
It was Reem, yeah, her beginner sort of Spanish, and we did our thing.
I should have done it. No, I didn't.
All good. It's all good. Horacio, any comments, or Susanna, any comment?
No, I think it was great.
yeah,
In
I
general,
agree. Yeah.
It was
I-
great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course. I think I mentioned a little bit is there's a moment because that happened to me with you, with the Suzanne the class we have with Suzanne to learn Arabic. There's a moment that my brain goes blank, and that happened as well to Cass, and I think that happened to Ring. I was, it was very, for me, it wasn't very important to understand that happens to almost everyone, when
Nice.
they are learning a new words that for some reason you forget like almost everything. So
It's funny.
how
I
to
found
cope
that
with
happens.
that?
Mm.
Hmm?
I
For
found it
you?
happens with Arabic a lot more than any other language that
For
I've
you?
looked at.
Okay,
I
very
don't. I
cool.
don't know. I think it's maybe the words aren't similar, so there's no way of like guessing it.
We might as well just think in Arabic.
No, but it happened to Rin too for Spanish. At the one moment she was like, "Oh," but then of course she get again in the hang of coming back because repetition. I think is very important.
Gotcha.
Repetition. So only that is like a how to cope with that situation, how you handle it.
Right.
Yeah, only
Right.
this.
Go ahead.
And I think the comment that I did make to you was that I liked the way that you had you were drilling her first and then you showed the words and then you took the words away again.
Mhm.
And I know that she lost it
To
when
force.
yep, and you had taken the words away and that was when she was all of a sudden like, I forget. And then you showed her the words and then I think she got it again.
Yeah, it got it. So,
Yeah.
so both is really important to
Yeah.
forget and then relearn. I think
Yes.
that's really important.
Good call. Good call. Hi, Cass.
Hello, hello.
How's
Hey,
the
Cass.
beach today?
Hello, hello.
Oh, found my
Hello,
beach.
Cass.
Hey, Horacio.
Hi.
Hello, Margarita's iPad.
Hello.
So, Cass, just to get to the speed real quick, what we talked about so far is the idea of teaching the method from the point of view of the teacher, so that it's very clear that the purpose of this group is to teach the method from the point of view of teachers, hoping that by creating better and better teaching, we create better and better learners. So I took down the Spanish course. I'm taking down anything that makes the group seem like, oh, what am I here to learn Spanish? No, we're here to train teachers. But Cass, like I told everyone, it's everything's still on my website, and I have a code, like a free code. You can log in and you can see everything from the language learning point of view. And then we started talking about the session with Reem and how um, Francisco said something like, it looked good, like but I'm not sure how to replicate it. I don't know what the sequence would be. What if we broke it down step by step and was able to say, okay, so here's what you do first, and here's what you do second, here's what you do third. Francisco's probably having some new students, which is good to hear. Maybe Horacio too, and that's what we've said so far. Cass, any comments or questions?
Sounds good. I saw that you had
Man,
published
a few
the
words. Hmm?
I got words.
Okay.
I saw that you published one of the Spanish videos on YouTube.
Got you. Yeah.
That
I
popped up
I
on my
published
feed.
one hoping to send people to the website as a side
Right.
gig.
And you have a couple new members, I see.
Yes.
I was going to ask, I mean, you basically you taught Fabio,
Yes.
what was it, Spanish, Italian? What'd you teach him? Arabic.
Arabic, yeah.
And then the
MS.
next thing we know, he's doing it and getting customers. So whatever you did to teach him is what
That's
you
what we're
need
trying to
to
do.
teach
That
us.
alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That's nicely
What,
what we're trying to do.
one important distinction is that I was a TLM teacher for 6 months before he teach me anything, like in Arabic or something like that. There was a test we ran after I was doing the method for many clients already. So you don't
Oh,
have to
really?
know everything to get started.
Okay.
Sure. Um, like that being the case, you're sort of becoming, I guess, a TLM teacher a year and a half ago was the catalyst that made you. So it's just the same. I mean, basically what I think Cass is saying. So
Yeah, for sure.
beautiful. Okay, so Cass, yes, that is precisely what I would love to see. And in fact, I would love to, like I said a couple of minutes ago, I would love students to come at any level on the pyramids. Oh, that guy's a blue belt. Oh, that guy's and you know what to do with them, and it's going to be good. So when it comes to Reem's class, who is again complete beginner, Susanna, you would take Cass in Egyptian and try to do the same thing. You know what I mean? I would love it if everybody could do the same thing that we did the other day with Reem in English, Spanish, Arabic, whatever it may be. And I want to dedicate tonight specifically to hopefully illuminating the essence of what that is. this comes to your point, Francisco, about what's the sequence. And like I said, I was thinking about this a lot. Like that, I was like, what is the sequence? And it dawned on me, there's no sequence. And bear with me because I'll give you a better solution. But I have to. There's no sequence within Ream's lesson. In other words, if you analyzed 1,000 hours of classes similar to Ream's, you would never find a particular like mathematical sequence or like a specific order of operations. Maybe you would just like in the same way that the stocks are a fractal, but like you wouldn't find something that you could just mimic and then you would be doing the thing any more than you can like make a tree. Like it's an organic thing. There's something, there's an essence. Okay. So, any comments or questions here from anyone? We're all on the same page, yeah?
Mhm.
On the right track, God willing, as well. So, we got to talk about the essence. Fabio and I talked about this earlier today and almost rehearsed this, which was super exciting because I hadn't really. So, first of all, Horacio, the point you made about getting in that moment where you're thinking in Spanish and you're kind of out of options. You're not thinking about your other language or another language. You're somehow you've entered this loop where you can say something to Reem like, all right, so you're good, estás bien? She's like, yeah, estoy bien. Okay, estás muy bien, estoy muy bien. And it's that loop back and forth of questions and answers, and it all stays in Spanish. And that once that loop starts to really spin, the person kind of gets sucked into it. Fabio and I were calling that the vortex earlier, right? So the official term now for getting in that loop, you know it, the loop, Susanna, when we did our thing, right? Horacio, you said you noticed Reem get in it. That's called the vortex. We're going to call it the vortex, right? It's some sort of invisible whirlpool that you get pulled into. Okay? Do you all see that?
Yeah, I base it on what we did last week.
Okay.
I create for myself a new technique.
Nice.
Is to tell the student. I want to share it with all you guys. Is to make the student, for example, okay, do this drill. I don't know if good, but I think it's good. But I want to ask. For example, ¿cómo estás? Estoy muy bien. ¿De dónde eres? Soy de Colombia. To make the student, to make and answer the question, to make but like because how I get this how you say inspired is because when you talk, you're explaining the teacher. So I say, okay, let's make the student to ask and answer the question, ask and answer the question by himself. No interaction with me, just himself, so he knows how to ask and answer us. So I go inspire. We know all this. How do you think?
Wonderful. Thank you. So we all know what the loop is like. Okay. There is a point that should be mentioned now. We've mentioned this before. We've brought this term up before, and we're going to bring it up again. And this is extremely important. There's basically two key terms tonight, and it's not just tonight. This is forever. It's the vortex, okay? And then again, we've mentioned this, it's realia. So if you're writing, go ahead and write vortex and realia. We're going to get deep into that tonight, like deep dive. So again, realia, that comes from real, Susanna. No, I'm joking.
Thank you.
Fabio and I talked about this pretty deeply this morning, as a matter of fact, and we identified 5 kinds of realia. Set that to the side for a second. That there's the 5 kinds. Set that to the side. Let's talk about one kind of realia. And by the way, if you need a refresher on what realia is, it's the thing that you're talking about. Okay? So the first kind of realia, that's the easy, I'm going to demonstrate this, so don't worry if you feel like lost or anything. The first and most easy to use realia is what we're going to call handheld realia. Handheld realia is anything you can hold in your hand. We will use realia, and this is what's happening with Ream. Like slowly but surely, you'll go, oh, that's what's happened. It's not a sequence, it's a quality. So this is handheld realia, right? the way to begin a vortex with a person, let's do it in English just to make it exceedingly obvious, is if I said to Francisco, can I use you as a volunteer, Francisco?
Sure.
Right? If I say to you, you're my English student, pretend, okay? But you don't have to pretend like you just answer naturally, right? So if I said with my handheld realia here, English class now, Francisco. If I said, what is this? What is this, Francisco?
Book.
It's a book. It's a book, right? Right. This is a book. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, what is this?
A book.
It's a book. Thank you. All right. This is a book, right? Susanna, what is this?
It's a book.
It is a book, right? It's not a cup of coffee, right, Hugh?
No, it's not a cup of coffee.
It's not a cup of
It's a book.
Thank you. Nicely done. It's a book, Horacio. That's a book. And by the way, what this is green book, blue book, white book, black book, what blue book, green book.
Green book.
A green book.
The green book. Can I hear that again?
Green
It's a
book.
green book.
It's a green book.
green
I've
book.
only asked questions by the whole time, right? Okay, it is a green book. Yes, this is a green book. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier, Fabio was doing this on me with 3 different color pens.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, we'll get to the pens, Fabio. I know you're raring to go with the pens.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready. Yeah.
Ya estoy listo.
Yeah. I have to admit that being asked 5 times in a row about what a thing is and going, yeah, what? Yes, it's a red pen. I must admit that there is resistance.
Yeah.
There's resistance. Because there's something about maybe human nature, the mind, or something that goes, dude, I already covered it. Like, what's next? Give me go. Let's go. Right. So what you're going to find, Francisco, within everyone here, what you're going to find is varying levels of resistance, but invariably you will find a ton of resistance. Even Reem had extra questions. We didn't even master. We weren't even in any vortex. She wants to know, oh, well, how do you say hola a todos, right? Oh, okay. I hesitated to even say, I was like, what are you looking over there for? It's okay. It's my problem. I have to get her into the vortex. Once they're in it, they don't want to leave it. I have a student right now who it's taken maybe 3 sessions, like over the course of 3 weeks. We've met once a week. And we just got into the mode where it's like, oh, let's speak all Spanish together. Now he's in the vortex. You can't get him out of it. I'm like, dude, I got to go. We're 20 minutes over. We're in the vortex. You know what I mean? Once you sink into it, it's like a pool. It's like, ooh, it feels nice in here. But there's a lot of resistance to get in there, which is why that exercise of the pens or the book. Yeah. All right.
Start speaking, yeah.
Okay. So just real quick here. Super obvious with English, but if I said this is a kitab, everyone, kitab. In Arabic, kitab, right? Can everyone say kitab?
Kitab.
Kitab.
Notice, Susanna, that if I say, can everyone say kitab? That's a question, right? I'm not saying, okay. Anyways, this is a kitab. So what is this?
Kitab.
Kitab.
Right? Yes, that's right. Hada kitab, right? So if this is a book, can you all say hada kitab?
Hada
Kitab.
Hada kitab. So this is what, Francisco? Is this a kitab?
Hada kitab.
Hada kitab.
Hada
Shukran,
kitab.
hada kitab. Okay. You see how you go, and then you go, oh, es un libro. ¿No? Horacio, ¿es un libro verde o azul?
Es un libro verde.
Es un libro verde, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Sí,
Sí,
es un
what?
libro verde.
Es un libro verde. Correcto. Whatever you want to do is fine. You want to say, oh, it looks interesting. Okay, se ve interesante, ¿no? Hugh, se ve interesante, Cass? Oh, yes, se ve. It looks, se ve interesante, ¿no, Susana? Se ve interesante?
Very interesante.
Se ve interesante.
Se ve interesante.
Sí, no, Hugh, se ve muy interesante, ¿no?
Se ve muy interesante. Sí, sí.
Muy interesante. Earlier we said, okay, now this is not a kitab. Well, it is a kitab, but it's more specifically, it's a kamus.
Camus.
That's a kamus, everyone. Have a kamus.
Hada
Camus.
kamus.
Kamus. Azrak, the color. Azrak. So, my point is
Azrak.
that you could go forever on the book.
Is that Akhtar?
Akhdar.
Okay.
هذا كتاب أخضر. هذا قاموس أخضر.
Achter.
Right, Hugh? Right? Okay.
Sa.
The core skill, and at this point, for instance, with no spreadsheet, no writing, no anything. Writing helps later if help me with writing if they're really needing the writing. Okay, then bring in the writing, but you don't need to start with the writing. You need to create a vortex. Again, you're going to get a ton of resistance, and the main way that people do resistance in a foreign language getting into the vortex is by saying, oh, so is that because, so that's a Heather means this. Oh, does that, how do you say that? Like, they have this extra question already. People will show their resistance with all these other questions, and the more people in the class, it's like a just wildfire.
And what is that?
Hada
is this? What's that?
See what I'm saying?
But so, so how do you deflect that question? Is there a skill to not answering?
That's okay. So I didn't think about how to answer your question. I should have thought about that earlier.
You do have an answer. The answer is that you offer two possibilities, and then the student chooses one of the possibilities that you have offered.
That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. It's to force you to use
your
it.
way. I copied that from you.
Beautiful.
You said that.
Okay.
Yes.
And I do have another answer or two. Go ahead, Horacio.
So let me try to understand. What you're saying is keep them busy inside the vortex so they don't want to go outside, and you keep like control of what they are learning so they don't how you say on focus. I don't know how to say it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. In that live class the other night, the Chicago house, the live one, there came a point 45 minutes in where everyone was quiet and just in their notebooks, and then someone goes, "Oh, I got one. أريد أن أسافر إلى السعودية لأنني أريد أن أدرس عربي هنا." And I was, is that right? And I was like, amazing. Everyone's coming up with their own thing. The vortex is spinning in their own minds. No one's asking questions anymore about, well, how do you say this, or how do you say that, or why is this, or why is that? Go ahead.
So I wrote here, keep it keep it inside the vortex at all cost.
Okay. That works. Okay.
Okay.
They will be happy for it very soon when they realize that it's nice and warm in here. One other quick response I sometimes have, Susanna, when someone says, well, why is it like this? Okay. Here's what I say to them. And in fact, I said this exact line or passage at the Soho House thing that night. They go, well, why is it like this? And I said, okay, I have two answers for you about why it's like this. First of all, it just is. That's the pattern. Take the pattern and see if you can create more with the pattern, and let's keep it swirling. Right? The other and the second answer I have for you is the following, but you're not going to like it. And that answer is because of the subjunctive mood. She's like, okay, I like number one.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for what I call grammar nerd mode. And I call it that. I said, let's go into grammar mode. Let's actually look at what subjunctive mood means from a language point of view. I love that. I totally love that. It's just that comes way, that's definitely a tale. You learn grammar through language. No one said, oh, how'd you get so good at how'd you become a native Spanish speaker, Francisco? Well, because of the grammar. You should have seen the books I had as a newborn. You know what I mean? No one learns grammar. All right. So that's how I would handle that, Susanna. And then Horacio, yes, keep it in the vortex at all costs. Fine. I like it.
Uh, yes, we learn grammar with, exposure to native content or correct. Okay, our parents correct us. Of course, we need guidance with teachers, but it's with exposure that we learn the language. For
Right.
example, in Spanish, we have two different you, a ti or ti,
Claro.
and tú.
Right.
Of course,
Sure.
usted is another third. But
Sure.
in English, there is only one.
Got it.
How we learned, for example, esto es para ti,
Right.
and
How did you learn that? Exactly.
esto es para ti, tú estás aquí. How? Because
Claro.
we are exposed. We don't learn the grammar
That's
at the
it.
school. Oh, you need to say a ti. We don't learn that at the school.
Right.
We learn
You learn
that
it first.
in a natural way.
Right. So, Horacio, the TLM parlance, like mantra, to talk about that is conversation teaches structure.
I agree.
All right. Just to see what this is like for quick, like 2 seconds, Francisco, do you think you could like annoy me into the vortex? Like, can you give me one of those, lapicero, or I don't know how you call it, pluma, however you call this.
Eh,
Lure me in, no?
eh, ¿Cómo se llama esto? ¿Qué es esto?
¿Qué?
¿Qué
Es un lapicero.
¿Seguro que es un lapicero?
Para mí sí, o sea, nosotros, sí, es seguro.
¿No es un lápiz?
No, no es un lápiz, dude, you're amazing. Boom, dude, you're amazing. You
That's
see what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah.
This
And
is
you keep
our
it
own
there.
version of tell me this.
Perfectly
man.
annoying. No, I'm joking. Like, seriously,
Tony.
like, I like that. See,
Right.
let me tell you something. Fabio today turned it into like an eye exam. Remember, he was like, "Are you sure? Is this what color is?" It was like I felt like it was more of a color blindness test than it was a Portuguese lesson. He was doing Portuguese with. Can you
Ah,
give me your
cool.
3 pens real quick? This is your time to shine, Fabio. Can you say, "É uma caneta," right? I'm going to do
Okay.
it. Fabio's going to lure me in.
Tony, o que é isso?
É uma caneta.
Essa caneta é que cor, Tony?
Amarela,
Não, essa é laranja.
laranja.
Laranja. É uma caneta laranja, certo?
Sim,
Ok. E essa caneta?
amarela.
Essa é uma caneta amarela.
Sim, é uma caneta amarela.
Ela não é laranja.
Não é laranja.
Ok. Ela não é laranja, ela é amarela, então.
É amarela.
Ok. Então, aqui temos uma caneta laranja e uma amarela, é isso?
Certo.
Muito bom. E essa caneta aqui? Que cor é ela?
Rosa.
Isso, rosa. É uma caneta rosa.
Uma caneta rosa. Uma caneta amarela. He didn't even tell me. He makes me tell him. Amarela, laranja.
Isso, muito bem. Isso é amarelo?
Não,
É laranja?
não.
É uma caneta que cor?
É uma caneta rosa.
Muito bem, muito bem. E essa aqui?
Laranja. Isso é uma caneta laranja.
Muito bem. E isso aqui?
É uma caneta amarela.
Quantas canetas eu tenho aqui?
Tem 3.
3 canetas.
3 canetas.
Quais são as cores?
As cores são laranja, rosa e amarela.
Muito bem. And so on, so on.
So on and so forth. You could go anywhere. You could go anywhere. Oh, what do you do with this? You use it to write? Yes, se usa para escrever, né? Se usa para escrever ou para ler? Isto é para ler ou para escrever, Fábio?
Para escrever.
É para escrever. You hardly want to say it because it's too stupid to say. When it's your own language, you know what I'm saying? You feel,
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
this is what you... It's in, what's that word? Indisposable. It's like you got, like, it's the best. Anyway, Francisco, amazing. Honestly, did everyone see? I'm in.
Thank you.
I'm in. You're welcome.
And that's why there's different kinds and types of realia, right?
Yep, we'll get to that. Go ahead, Hugh. Did you have something? My bad.
No, I was
Fab.
saying it was all
It's okay,
very
it's okay.
quick there, so it was very efficient.
Right there.
I think as well, it is interesting the concept of, output, because the more you use a word, the more you'll
Yes.
get better at learning it.
Yes. And because of the realia, you're actually saying it. It's one thing to say something and another thing to mean it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
If I said to you, lapicero. Good job. Good job. You
You're
said
just
it
like
well.
repeating out loud, you know.
I'm just saying lapicero. But if you
But
say
now-
no, for real, what is this? Is that a
Yeah, I don't know what
No.
is this, right? Yeah.
what
Like
is
good
that?
example as well would be like if you say, "Oh, I am outside," and you're learning off that sentence, but you're not actually outside at the moment. You're applying it to real life. You know?
Cool. And that's going to tie into the 5 kinds of realia that we identified today. Amazing. Excellent. Remember that we'll touch that here. So Francisco, it's one thing to say something
Susana, o que é isso?
and another thing to mean it, right?
Isso é gato.
É gato. All right. You with me, Francisco? So I could say, yes, es un caneta. No, es un caneta. Es un lapicero, right? And you can say, wait. Now, is that es un lapicero or una? Oh, es un lapicero. Oh, good grammar lesson. I'm just saying the word. It's another thing to mean it. You got to make them say it, not like I was going to say it like you mean it. No, make them say it because they mean it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means to be in the vortex.
And this is one of the reasons that games are really useful, because you have to actually use the language to play the game, otherwise it doesn't work. Like guessing games, usually we do it.
Nice. Okay, so guessing games would be a good realia. All right. Any comments or questions at this point? We have a system now for classifying 5 kinds of realia. And it's convenient because you have 5 fingers. So you can remember it in 5 ways. We can write it down, but this is it, okay? So the first realia that we just played with and Francisco did excellent. This is a moment in history where Francisco, boom, just, that's handheld realia. And the way to remember it with your thumb is because you need an opposable thumb to hold something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So realia type number 1 is what?
Handheld realia.
It's handheld realia. Could be a book, for instance, could be a pen, Hugh, could be your glasses, could be anything you can hold in your hand. You need a thumb to do it. Type 2 is what's called present moment realia. So present moment realia, Hugh, that's anything you can point at. I can't hold my whiteboard in my hand, but I can point to and say, what's that? Or can you tell me what's in the room right now? Can you tell me what's out there? What's this? What's that? Got it, right? And you can point to it.
I like it.
It's really good, okay? So, Susanna, present moment realia is how are you, where are you, what are you doing? So basically, Francisco, what Reem and I were doing was getting her into the vortex, just like you already know how to do. But instead of me holding something, I was asking her to more or less mentally point to how she feels, where she is on the map, and what she's doing. Yeah, I got some muffins in the oven. That's go. I'm doing book cooking, doing this, I'm doing that. Got it?
Yeah.
With
So if
things
you
like the
can do
weather
it,
count.
that's present moment realia for sure. Remember the golden questions, those that are always true?
Right.
How do you feel? What's the way? Yeah, perfect, Cass. Okay. So, for instance, if you can do what you've already done, which was, are you sure? Dude, I love that. I never thought of that. I don't think I've ever said that. Everyone brings their own, are you sure? Beautiful. I've never said that. See how you're bringing something new to it?
Mhm.
If I told you the sequence, oh, do what I do, you'd mimic, and it would be work. It would be it would never work. If you know the essence, you're doing it. You're teaching. And I'm going to use it.
You're right.
You sure?
And we can learn from each other. Yeah. We can learn
Right.
from each other. That's the beauty of it.
That's the deal.
Yes. I never used that one for sure. Are you sure?
Horacio,
Like, I
can you
never-
drill me on my bad? I'm too excited. Can you oh, my turn again? No, I'm fine. Can Can you drill me on what marca that is? ¿Qué es esta marca que tú tienes en tu chaqueta? ¿Qué es esa
Okay.
marca? Pero tú eres el maestro, so you have to tell me, Tony, ¿cuál es
ya.
esta?
Eh, ¿Qué
It's
marca es
Nike, by the
esta?
way. No, no lo veo.
Acá.
Ahí está. Gracias, gracias.
Ok.
Ese.
Tony, ¿qué marca es esta?
¿Qué marca es esta? Oh, es Nike.
Are you sure?
In Spanish. In Spanish.
No, it's
En
Nike.
español. Ok. Pensaba que lo tenía que hacer en inglés.
You guys know the
¿Qué
song
marca es
Eso?
esta? Ok, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I was going to just say, if you guys know the song that goes, Esos son Reebok, o son Nike, Nike.
Ah, sí. sí. Ese. Yeah.
Do you know that
I
joke,
know.
Susanna? Do you know? Remember the song from the '90s that goes, "This is the rhythm of the night."
Of the
Yeah.
night.
Oh,
There's
nice.
this super funny video years
yeah.
ago. A guy calls into a radio station speaking Spanish. He's like, "Well, what's that song? ¿Cuál es esa rola que des esos son Reebok o son Nike?" Which means, are those Reeboks or Nikes?
Yeah.
The guy's like, "What is that?" He's like, "Esos son Reebok
It's
o
the
son
real
Nike?"
of the
Oh, is it this
night.
one? And they're like, ah. All right. So is this Reebok o es Nike?
Nike.
A ver, Horacio. ¿Qué marca es esta?
¿Qué marca es esta, Tony?
Es Nike.
¿Es Nike o Reebok?
Es Nike.
¿Estás seguro?
Estoy seguro, estoy casi seguro. No, estoy seguro que sí, Horacio.
Bueno, te confirmo si es Nike.
Muchas gracias, Es Nike entonces.
Sí,
¿Sí? ¿Sí what?
sí es Nike. Es
You can
Nike.
keep going back. Okay.
Tony turned the table around like he started to question the guy.
The Vortex.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
He put you in his vortex.
All right, so what's that realia?
That's the number one.
Handheld.
Bec-
Thank you.
because we can touch it. I can touch it.
You can literally touch that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Guys, you could do it all. Do 25 hours on handheld realia in Egyptian, Susanna. As long as they're in the vortex, they are thinking, they are losing English, they're expressing thoughts in Arabic through handheld. Okay, what's this one?
Present.
Handheld.
Moments.
Present moment, something you can point to.
Point.
What's going on around you?
Present moment, yes.
Okay.
You can point.
Type 3 of 5 is what we're going to call general realia. There you go. All right. The way to think of general realia is, yeah, I eat meat. Right? I'm not eating meat right now. I generally do this thing. I can do this. I can't do that. I know this. I know that. So why is that number 3? Like, why is there this certain order to it? Because it's easier for the teacher to be able to hold something up and say, tell me the color, tell me the look, tell me the size, tell me the shape, tell me whatever it may be. Look, here it is, right? It's very easy to do that. And then it's the next easiest thing to point at stuff. And then it's 1 degree less easy to make someone think about stuff that's not happening right now, but generally happens.
Mm.
But again, if you're in that mode, you're still bringing them into the vortex, right? So Cass, you could quiz me on something in general. So do I eat meat? Yes, I eat meat. You don't, right?
No, I don't.
I don't. You don't what?
I don't eat meat.
I don't eat meat.
Do you
¿Estás
eat meat?
seguro?
You eat
¿Estás
meat,
seguro?
right? Are you sure? I do. Yes, I do, Cass. Yes, I do. I do eat meat. Not eating meat at the moment, but yes, I generally eat meat.
I generally don't
You generally don't.
eat meat. Generally don't eat meat.
You sometimes do.
Not for 12 years.
Not for 12 years. Okay. Kind
Used to
four.
eat meat. Go ahead.
That works. Okay.
Please go on, please.
So it's actually
sorry, Tony. I just want to say that his comment moves towards the 4th realia, which is memory. I used to eat meat. You know.
About to say, as if we paid Cass to say that type 4 is what's called memory realia. It's 1 degree less
Easy.
material, less
It's more abstract. That's why.
more abstract. There you go.
It's what?
It's more abstract. Abstrato.
Right. So, Cass, tell me about what used to be or what you even did this morning. Anything that comes from memory. Used to do this morning. I had, what'd you have for breakfast, Cass?
I went shopping this morning.
Went shopping this morning. Where'd you go this morning?
Went to the grocery store this morning.
Grocery store.
Did you go to the
What'd you
grocery store
buy?
this morning?
¿Qué compraste? No fui a la tienda hoy. No fui a la tienda hoy. Tú fuiste a la tienda, ¿verdad?
Sí, I bought bread.
Muy bien, compré pan. Ok. ¿Compraste pan? Sí, compraste pan. Sí, compré pan.
Sí, compré pan.
Realia type 5 is what we call imaginary realia. The most abstract type. I guess the future, even, right? Because if you have to imagine the future, so what are you gonna do? What would be the case, even, right? Anything that requires imagination or
Pure
If you
abstraction.
won the lottery, what would you do?
perfect. Okay. So Horacio, ask me what I would do if I won the lottery.
In Spanish.
Por favor.
Or Egyptian, if you want.
Tony, ¿qué harías si te ganas la lotería?
Uf, si ganara la lotería, lo
That's
que haría,
subjective.
si ganara. And then, am I good? Am I good? Yeah, si ganara, right? Okay, si ganara, thank you. I'm in the vortex. Si ganara la lotería, ¿qué haría? Lo que haría es viajaría mucho. Quiero viajar de todos modos, pero si ganara la lotería, luego, como quien dice, estaría bien. Da. Got it?
¿A dónde viajarías?
There you go. Primero a Japón, ¿por qué no? Primero a Japón.
Ay, yo estoy que voy a Japón ahorita. Estoy que voy a... Pero
¿Y tú, Horacio, tú, maestro, mi maestro Horacio de español, si ganaras
yo
la lotería, ¿a
quisiera...
dónde?
Si gano una lotería, iría a Japón también.
A Japón también.
Pero sí, mi mejor amiga viaja a Japón el 26 de febrero.
Muy bien, muy bien. She's going to, I didn't hear you clear. She's going to or she did?
No,
She
she's
did.
going.
She's going
no,
to.
va a viajar, es viajar.
Va a viajar,
O sea,
ok, muy
ella
bien.
sí va a viajar. Y yo estoy que,
Yeah,
ojalá
okay.
tuviera dinero para viajar.
Muy bien, muy bien. So your friend who's going to travel to Japan, that fact is realia, right?
Yes.
What kind of realia?
It's like present, really. Like for me, it's present, no? Or
You could make that case. You could
Oh,
make that case.
it's
'Cause you're
present.
planning.
Or general.
It's kind of a mix, right?
General. It's like I don't know. It's like okay. It's future. If I say ella va a viajar, ella va a viajar el 26 a Japón.
Sure.
So it's like, but it's a fact that she's going to travel.
I hear you.
It's funny as well. I
Oh.
feel like if it's your very, very best friend, then it's kind of present tense. But then otherwise, it might be for memory. It might be number 4 if it's like someone distant kind of thing. You're just kind of remembering.
If someone did travel to such and such place, like Fabio traveled to LA 10 years ago, what
So it's
realia is
general.
that?
Memory.
Okay, so that would be memory.
Right.
So I think it's number 3, right? Or 4 or 5.
I think it's kind of a cross. The fact that she's going to do that is kind of a cross between 3 and 5, right? Like it's a fact that generally currently, no, actually, you know what? It's not general, dude. It's not general.
Present.
It would be present. It would be 2. Because she's
Present moment.
True.
Okay, it's true.
general would be like I have a friend who travels to Japan every month.
Then it's 3.
That's present. That's moment
General.
number 2.
No,
No, number 2.
no.
That's general because it's a habit, right? It's general knowledge.
Oh
She travels
yes,
every.
you're sure. Yeah, because it's a habit.
Yep.
I wrote here number 3 for habits and facts.
Excellent.
That works. That works. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, there are 5 doors that lead into the vortex.
Okay.
You can ask someone about this thing you're holding in their hand, and then ask them 25 times if they're ad nauseum until if they're sure about it. Okay. Or anything else you want, right? So you can enter through realia door 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the point.
Okay.
Earlier today when Fabio and I were talking, we were saying imagine like the hand, imagine the vortex is the palm of the hand, right? It all leads in. And the way it's just here's the method. Here's truly the basis of the method. It's 5 doors, realia doors into
And you can keep them in your palm of your hands, right?
Mhm.
And it's interesting because there's a connection to each of your fingers. So this is handheld, right? You can hold things, right? The one that present you can point. The
Right.
general you can do like that. So that's a number 3. And do like general radio, kind of thing. And then memory, it's the ring finger. So it's about like memories, emotional, and things like that. And then imaginary, this is like, imagine this is like a little I for imaginary. In math, they have like imaginary numbers. It's I, a little I. So that's why.
Nice.
Sign language
Cool.
too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What? What you said, Suzanne?
Sign language. That's I.
You can say like I, like
Oh.
I am, like I, and then
I.
cool. I didn't know that, but thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Comments or questions here? Francisco, if you can do what you already did with the pen slash not pencil, then you can do all of this.
Right.
Everything will be based on this because you'll find someone who's over the hill on the pyramid and is just, what do they need? Oh, well, they need a little help with this or that. You'll always have a way to find out how to work, like how to work with them. Just,
Mhm.
you know.
Do you guys love it so much you're silent now, or did you guys hate it?
No, it's we're
Love it, love it.
waiting for you to say something.
You're just absorbing, right? Like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Everybody's like all state. Like, oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
No, I was going to say something, but I answered my question, but I'm going to say like this technique is going to be used in all the belts.
Definitely.
exactly.
Yes.
That's a very important point.
You can start from belt 1, belt white to black,
Right.
because a technique that make you speak and talk.
That's right.
You speak and and talk. Right? Yeah.
That's right.
To speak, make the student speak. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So the vision we had at the end of this exact talk that we're having now, when Fabio and I were having it earlier, it was that the only way to really know it is to do it. Just kind of like how the only way to know that you know a language is by using it. The only way to know that you're making progress with someone whom you're teaching is by actually teaching them, right? So, Francisco, I think you'll love the vortex thing the same way you just did it. Here's the point, Francisco. You control the speed
Mhm.
and you control how wide it is. So you want to bring in something, oh, they can handle it. They can say, oh yeah, that book looks interesting. Save, he's ready for that. That's how you know they're ready for it. If they're not ready for it, it'll spit it back out on its own.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because they'll just go, oh, what? I don't know that. Okay, fine, bring it back in. Make the vortex smaller. All right, we make it a little bigger. Oop, nope, spit it out, bring it in. You control the size and the speed of the vortex. We could go back and forth, go super slow. Those are the
Yeah, no,
dimensions.
it's so true kind of thing. Yeah. where you know, even whenever we're starting off any language we've given as a sample, we make it quite small. You know what I mean?
Sure,
And then it grows.
for sure. You got something, Susanna?
Yeah, do you generally have questions like so your the questions that you asked Reem, I feel were very common questions that I've seen in some other videos of yours as well. So have you kind of like come up with lesson one, lesson two kind of questions until you kind of understand what the person really wants to learn and then kind of tailor it towards that?
Yeah, I pretty like if you said, okay, what are you going to do with Fabio for the next 12 days? And it's
Yeah.
1 hour a day, I'd go, okay, I know what I'm going to do in 12 days. So yeah, over the course of just doing it and doing it and doing it, yes, you begin to have your sequence that ends up being the smoothest.
Yeah.
I think of I think you have a roadmap of what you're going to do, but each lesson, you know, is different, right? Like each student will, you know, you will
True.
adapt to
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of
student too.
built-in freedom, but at the same time, yes, you begin to start
Mm-hmm.
to get a map for sure. Susanna, keep going.
Yeah, so because where I was leading with that is because I have looked at your like the verb list, like where you have your most common verbs. I think there's like 10 of them or something, and then you've
Yeah.
got all the yeah. So that would be my next thing. Is like I would think if I was going to be teaching, I would want to learn or teach the student those most common verbs first and kind of work my way through that.
Yes.
And then also in terms of your categories, right? Like get them to know a person, place, and thing. That'd be one of the
Yep.
first things they need to learn. And
Right.
then adjectives. And then you had all these other matrices as well, like someone, no one, you know, that whole
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So
So
yep, yeah.
that exact thing is going to be
Okay.
part of the new generation of courses. Consider tonight's talk day one. Consider it class one, because this is the first class where I'm imagining you only as a teacher. Like in the past, it's kind of like, oh, do you kind of want? It was a little bit like Confucius chasing two rabbits. Like, is it a learner or is it a teacher? I'm thinking of you only as a teacher. If
Yep.
you become a better learner, great. But I'm thinking, right? So this is day one. Day 2, 3, 4, however long it takes. I think I put a curriculum out there.
Yeah.
Like novel for me. Oh, a curriculum. Look at that. Like built into that curriculum, Susanna, is absolutely the way to look at
Okay.
what you've just talked about.
Yep.
And just real quick, since we're on this point, the metaphor that I like to use for that is the following. So imagine that in the vortex, our feet are on the ground, right? We're together, we're thinking together. Think of that as like hiking in a forest, right? Like you can't always see you don't know how big the forest is. You don't even know what comes next. It's one foot in front of the other. At some point, once, and Fabio and I did this at like day 3 or 4 in our thing, you get in a helicopter and you look down over the whole language.
The map of the language.
The map of the language. And there is a map for verbs, there's a map for adverbs, there's a map for nouns, map for indefinite pronouns, no one, da da da, so on and so forth. All of that is available. And that's when you get in the helicopter and go, oh, cool. All right, cool. That's how that. So anyway, that will be built into this new course,
Okay.
All right.
which is starting now.
So a cool thing we can do next is to practice with all of you, right? But we don't have enough time to make everybody goes for as long as it should, to everybody get the feeling of it, to control the vortex. But you guys can organize yourselves doing it with someone else. So you can get a client to do that, get a friend, get a relative, or the easiest way to do that we'll come up with is that you guys can do with each other if you don't have anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, you ensure that you're practicing in a safe environment. Just like you would spare in a martial arts gym, like a dojo, as I guess Cass mentioned it could be like a dojo and be like sensei. So imagine you're sparring in a jiu-jitsu class or whatever, karate or kung fu. You guys are sparring with each other, but outside of the class. And then the real thing comes when you guys record this and post back into the community where everyone can see, can learn from, and can give feedback.
Mhm.
Especially us, me and Tony, that we can see after you guys do it. And like, oh, okay, cool. So these things can be done, blah, 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 and then we can
Right.
help everyone from this.
Okay,
And
excellent. I agree.
yeah. And the easiest way to do that is from now on to be like, you create a post on the community saying something like, okay, I'm looking for a partner to practice white belt. I don't know, you can say like a handheld realia in Egyptian Arabic. So you give the belt, you give the type of realia, and you give the language you want to practice with.
Got it.
And then, want to say something, Susanna?
No, I said I got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. And then for example, Susanna posts this like handheld realia in the white belt thing for Egyptian Arabic. And then Margarita, no, I'm just kidding. And then Francisco, and then Francisco, I can be your partner. And then in exchange, I can do in Spanish. Is that okay, Susanna? Yeah, it's okay. So you guys do like 10, 20 minutes in Egyptian and then 20 minutes in Spanish. You take turns, record everything, and post into the same, like in the comments of the same post you created it. And then people from the community and us, me and Tony, can go there and see how it's going. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good
Sounds like
idea.
a winner.
Yeah, cool. One
I
thing
like it.
though, one little caveat, like a technical caveat, is that you should create a YouTube channel if you haven't yet and post there so you can post the link. It doesn't have to. Here's the thing: you don't have to actually post for the whole world to see. You can post it as unlisted, so only the people with the link can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to make it as your own video for your channel, great, so be it. You're gonna have more content and people are gonna learn from you as well, right? Maybe not at the beginning, but eventually if you want to do that, it's a great idea.
It is. You have to, I mean, you guys probably already know this, but you have to post a link in school. There's no file uploading. So, yeah. Right. So that's great points, Fabio. I wrote the same thing as always. It's not going to be able to read it, but belt, realia, and language in that order. So what's the belt? Well, Cass is probably a white belt when it comes to Egyptian Arabic. Nothing wrong with that. What realia type, Susanna? You want to do the book, do the pen, right? And the language is Egyptian. So that would be a beautiful, perfect setup right there.
Mm-hmm.
And just see how long you can keep Cass. Not saying no, we're not talking about the language anymore, right? We're sitting there going.
Basically just having a conversation with your friend in Arabic about the pens, or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I almost think it might be better because if I do it with Cass knows how the game is played. You
Fair
know
enough.
what I mean?
That's a good point.
So
It doesn't have to be with us. We suggest
Yeah,
each other because
it can
we're
be
here,
anyone.
but grab anyone.
yeah.
No, I don't want to learn Arabic. That's the thing. I want to
No,
practice my
I'm just-
Spanish.
yeah.
Oh, that's
If I was going
also
to learn a new language, I mean, if somebody wanted to prove the method works, then I'm totally green in French, and that's what I want to learn next. But I really
Nice.
want to focus on my Spanish.
Nice.
So I'm hoping Horacio will work with me some more on
Exactly.
Spanish.
So Cass's belt in Spanish is somewhere around the top. Maybe it's Converse, maybe it's pre-Converse, but it's somewhere up there. So it would be, I mean, I'm just being redundant. Francisco, you'd be the one, Horacio, or you to say, okay, you know what? Here's how we get Cass into the vortex.
Mhm.
Oh, it was a yellow belt, memory realia, Spanish lesson.
Yeah. And just to make it more fun, me and Tony come up with a number like 3 times. You got to do it with 3 different people to get approved to the next level. Pretend this is a game, and
Yeah.
to go to the next level, you gotta play with 3 people.
Okay, Susanna, Chaos. Yeah,
Done.
we
Everyone's
can.
in the
can join-
game.
yeah.
People, we,
Yeah, you can
Yeah, I
come
can
up
do
with
it.
your own
Hands up,
pose in
hands
the
up.
game,
I'll just
right?
pretend to be, I'll pretend to have no Spanish, and then, Horacio can teach me, and I'll fly up.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Or I can teach you, more advanced. I
Yeah.
can't. Can you tell me what's your real level in Spanish?
Probably B1.
Okay. I
It
have
doesn't
to.
have to be like you can talk about like very advanced things. You still being in white belt. You can be like a white
Okay.
belt talking about imaginary things, just because you're using a very basic concept of realia. We're not going to like personality stuff, which is black belt.
Oh, of course.
You know?
If we do pants, of course, for he it'll be
Yeah, it
easier.
doesn't have to be
For
pen. It can be something
context.
more abstract, But it works the same way. Just pick your realia, pick your level, and for now everybody's white belt, so pick white belt, and then pick your
Okay.
realia, and then the language, and have fun with it. That's the whole point.
Mhm.
Nice. Nice.